This is TWiT.
Adobe Max 2019 and the one, the only Mr. Colorful Hair, Josh Haftel in the house. How you doing, brother?
I am good. Good to see you.
You too. Now, the last time I talked to you, I had a little bit of trepidation because I think it was 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Lightroom Classic was called Lightroom Classic.
Well, it was just called Lightroom at that point, right?
Yeah, right. But then we had the keynote, and it was now Lightroom CC,
right,
and then Lightroom Classic,
yep.
And so you could hear all of the photography forums just right. What's going on with Lightroom?
Yeah,
you convinced me.
Okay, good.
Lightroom is not going anywhere.
Nope.
Lightroom Classic is not going anywhere. You said that 3 years ago, and we still had it.
We love it.
So, with all of this continued growth with AI and cloud computing and so forth, still feel the same way?
Absolutely.
Okay,
absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. Because in the end of the day, AI is great. There's a lot of value behind AI, and there's also people that just want to get their hands dirty and do it themselves.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that either.
Right. I'm the same way.
Yeah. And so it depends entirely. Like, I have a manual lens on that camera. Right. Not because I'm like manual equals professional. That's not what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you are.
No, not at all. Not at all. That is not me at all. Like, you put auto, it's great. But I just like that lens so much that I'm willing to just have like the control. Like, I want to have that aspect of it. And so I don't think there's anything right or wrong or indifferent about like one or the other.
Right.
It's up to you. It's up to what you want. And so we have some of those automated AI technologies that are built into Lightroom. Lightroom CC.
Lightroom CC was
now called Lightroom.
It's just Lightroom now.
And and to be fair, like, we also have some AI stuff that's built into Lightroom Classic as well. The auto functionality built into Lightroom Classic, which is the same auto built into ACR, which is the same auto built into Lightroom on all the different surfaces, is machine learning based. Right. So it has AI built into it. So just because you're using Classic doesn't mean you're forgoing all kinds of AI stuff. There are just some aspects that like rely on the cloud. Right. And those cloud-based abilities are something that you don't necessarily get wholly inside of Lightroom Classic. So there are some little differences here and there, but for the most part, like, if you're the kind of person who's like, I want to control the organization, I want to control where they're stored, I want to control who's backing them up, how they're being backed up, all that kind of stuff.
That's me.
Then that's Lightroom Classic. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with it. We've got huge numbers of customers that are using Lightroom Classic and loving it. Not to say that there aren't a huge number of customers that have some things that they wish that Lightroom Classic did better, and we're hearing all these things.
Right.
It's fine. I mean, it's great. I'm so excited that people love the product so much that they're like yelling at me.
Well, see, that's the thing. That's when you got something good. If people want to come back and say, hey, can you do this? Can you do that? And so on. Now, with the recent updates to Lightroom, I've enjoyed it because I can clearly see a performance increase, especially having a nice, GPU attached to my machine. It's finally getting to where you can just zip through the different images.
And we still have a way to go. And there's some things that we hear people saying loud and clearly. And so just want to make sure that we're not like, we know that there's more things to do.
That's awesome. I get it. Now,
it's all fun.
One more thing that we talked about previously was you had a bag full of smartphones. Yeah. And it was not just the iPhone. It was 3 or 4 different iterations of Android phones, from whether it was a flagship to a feature phone. Yeah. And it totally impressed me because you proved to me that, hey, it's not just about the iPhone. Right. We want to focus on all of the different devices out there. And right now, is that still the point now? Because right now people are not spending as much money on the smartphones now. Right. They're holding on to those older phones.
Yeah. And so right now I've got over here, I got a Pixel and I got my Pixel and I got my iPhone 11 right here side by side. I got these guys going here. I don't necessarily carry with me as much all those devices.
Right, you trimmed down just a little bit.
I turned 40 this year, all right? And like my back is starting to tell me something, all right? So
I respect that.
It's all good. But like at home, I still have I got mad stacks of devices and same with our QE, same with our designers, same with our engineers. We all are playing with all the different devices because, Android is an amazing, amazing platform where you got like everything under the sun.
Right.
All different sizes, aspect ratios,
Mm-hmm.
form factors. You got flip phones again. I mean, it's crazy.
I'm still waiting on this whole flip phone. I want to see that with my own eyes. I'm still calling
Razor,
it vaporware.
right?
I'm still calling that vaporware.
Like the fold, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what is that? No,
but like at the same time, you've got all these different devices. You got notches. You got no notches. You've got thing that pops up. You got like resolutions all over the place. You got some little phones that pretend that they're like tablets. Some tablets that pretend that they're phones. Like Android can be the wild, wild west in all the best ways.
Right.
The kind of old timey saloon, like drinking like 2 fingers of whiskey, kind of wild, wild west.
Well, I have no problem with whiskey.
Yeah, exactly.
Now,
but I think that there's a lot of cool things that are happening there. In order for us to be part of that, we really need to live and breathe like Android. Android's a big deal.
So in other words, you actually putting your hands on the device and spending some quality time with it, not just reading the spec sheet.
Of course, yeah. I mean, and there's so many cool things. Like there was the Nokia, the partnership with Light. People were thinking like they were worried and freaking out about like how many lenses were on the iPhone 11. They got to see that thing if they want to trigger that. What's that called? Where like you're afraid of eyes? I forget.
What was it? Lightroom something.
Yeah, Light was the camera, the L16. But there was like I remember when the iPhone 11 was coming out. People were like, "This is triggering my fear of eyes," and I'm like, "Well, you just gotta look at that phone."
This other one has 30 different lenses
crazy.
on it.
Well, there's like that, or Huawei, which we're not allowed to buy in the United States, but there's still cool cameras and still phones, and like there's all these like. Whenever I go to India, like the devices they have over there are so cheap and so powerful.
Now,
it's crazy.
In the executive QA, Mr. Santanu, he addressed that, with the whole relationship between China and the U.S., and he made it clear that, hey, we still want to be there. We still want to be able to provide a product because there's photographers there too.
Of course. There is so many creatives. Right. I mean, they have so many artists in China. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to just, like, one of people on my team, she and her husband have spent a lot of time in China, like, partnering with like the upper education, higher level education photographers. And it's just so exciting to see the kind of like creativity and like just all the drive that's happening over there. I just like, we need to break down some of these like geopolitical barriers and just we're all photographers. We're creative. Like, let's create stuff.
Gosh. Now, see, that's another thing that I enjoyed about you is you have the community spirit. And what I've noticed with the last couple iterations of Lightroom is you're tapping into the young folks or newer photographers out there with the different tutorials and how interactive it is. Can you speak a little bit more about what's going on with that? Because I love that it had haptic feedback in the middle of it. If you put the exposure too high, it yelled at you. Nope, that's too much. Go back.
So those interactive tutorials that we started releasing them inside of the Lightroom Mobile in May of this year. At this launch today, we are adding them onto the desktop and onto the web. So now you can have access to these tutorials. They're free. We have like over 100 already in there. We've got another 400 in the hopper. Like we're building tons of this content.
And these are not just Ant Pruitt tutorials. These are like Mr. Terry White in there.
Little Terry's in there. There's a bunch of different people in there that are doing this stuff. And inclusive of, we want to be, like diversity is really important for all the different kinds of diversity. Whether we've got artists that we're working with that are in Indonesia, in India, in Germany, in Japan, in Mexico, in Brazil, in the US, the UK, we got to get that kind of diversity because everybody's approaching photography differently. We got to have people of different age groups, people at different like stages of their creative career. We need some people who got like some fresh energy or just want to like break up some of the kind of like, tried and true the classics. But we also want to get the classics in there as well. People that are just really kind of channeling their Ansel Adams in there, their Edward Weston, like that kind of photography style. Plus also like whether it's men and women or different like photography styles, like just covering all the bases. That's like beautiful. Just to be able to make sure that we can have all the different voices in there.
That's beautiful. And with the podcast that I've been hosting, focused on photography as well as hands-on photography on TWiT.tv, I try to tell the listeners that photography is more than megapixels. It's the story. And from what I'm seeing with Adobe is you all are continuing to push the story and the narrative behind all of the creatives.
We hope so. We were trying to, because it's not just a billion pixels coming together that make something. There's like, whether it's the story, like where were you, what was going on?
Right.
There's the emotion that's inside of there. There's also the context.
Right.
You know, like a lot of the most powerful photos in the world that we've ever seen, they can help transport you to that time, that place, like that, and feeling what's going on inside of there. And there's just like so much more to it than just a bunch of pixels.
Right.
And so like, how do we help people bring that together? And sometimes that's through inspiring, through education, and we definitely like that idea of how do we build more community is definitely top of our mind, because right now we believe that we have a huge opportunity as Adobe to not just make, you know, be the purveyors of the finest tools. Right. We also want to like bring it all together and like help each other, inspire each other. Because right now, like if I think about back what was the most impactful, valuable part of my like undergraduate, I got a BFA in photography. Like the thing that was most exciting to me was being amongst all these other photographers and having them inspire
that energy
that
they had.
And just like getting that, like being able to push and pull, like creativity was just super exciting. And, you know, like the day and age right now, like almost all of our interactions online is either like for like, you know, like
it's so sad.
Yeah, and I mean, there's fine. There are times where I need like somebody to give me a compliment. I'll go fishing all the time. Are you kidding me? It's like, what do you think about my hair, man? And you're like, oh, your hair looks beautiful today. You know, I'm not above that. That's not what I'm saying. Like,
you should have gone with the rouge today.
There's some rouge in there. What are you talking about? But like, there are times where I too need that little kind of like confidence boost, and I'll just push a photo up on Instagram to get some likes, and that's all good. And there's nothing wrong with that. But there's also times where I want to get some kind of like, I want somebody to challenge me. I want somebody to push me. I want somebody to like get me excited to go out there and get out of my comfort zone. I don't know where to go right now. Like we have an opportunity to do that.
Why didn't you squat down another 1.5 feet? Change perspective, stuff like that. Sometimes that stuff is helpful. I get it. I get it.
There's that. There's also like, you know what? Instead of being afraid of going, like for me, I am terrified of taking pictures of people. Like just terrified of it.
Yeah, but they make the best stories. Now, we're getting knocks on the door, so we probably should wrap this up. But one more question. Adobe Sneaks is coming up this week, and Mr. Santanu alluded to Audition and some extra tools. Can you allude to anything on the photography front?
I have like no sneaks to share.
Oh, come on.
I mean, come on. You trying to get me in trouble?
I wanted a nugget, just a little nibble.
Yeah, no, I got.
There, you know, fine.
I know. I'm just thinking about my PR guys like yelling at me.
Yeah, we should get on out of here. Well, thank you again for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Appreciate this. TWiT.tv, hands-on photography, focus on photography. Check us out for more content here at Adobe Max. Thank you.
Cheers.